Hello one and all, and welcome to part 2 of the secret project build. Now before I go any further with anything, I have to tell you that the first idea I had has been scrapped. I went over to Nam's house and we kind of talked about it, and basically the consensus between the two of us was so before I go into what I'm doing now, I might as well tell you what the first idea was and why it wouldn't really work. So if you remember the first stampede I did, it was cut down and minimized as far as it could go. What I was going to do is I was going to take this stampede, take U-bolts like I did with Fenrir, put one right here, put some polycarb on the bottom and connect it to the U-bolt. I was going to cut this down to the mag well so I had plenty of room. And then I was going to take a Vulcan tripod, take the swiveling part of it, glue it on to the polycarb, and then somehow connect it to the smaller stampede and make it so it could rotate using two little handles on it that could rotate, so I could make it shoot that way and then crank it over the other way and then make it shoot this way, say if I was pointing this direction. And the whole concept I wanted to do was, if you're ever surrounded by a horde of zombies, you could shoot ahead of you, I guess to clear out a group, and in front of you if you need to leave someplace, but also shoot around you, which in theory in my rough sketch-ups would have been perfect, and it can work. But the length of it is what really throws it off. With the stampede on the bottom here, the length of the entire assembly would have been just under the length of a long shot with the front gun. So about 3 feet long, which is about half my size, and just really long if you think about it. So kind of impractical if you want to carry it around with you for a long time or go through a narrow area. So the project has been scrapped, and Nam and I have come up with some project that we think will be much more efficient and be much easier to control and make, but it's also something that's going to be pretty cool in its own aspect. So the minimized stampede at the moment is just resting. I'm looking for something to do with it. I don't know what yet, and no, I will not be slinging it from under my arm because I don't want to. So just saying that right now. So today I thought I would go over the stampede and maybe talk a little bit about what I'm doing with version 2 of the project. So let me show you what I have done so far. This stampede, as you can see, has had the front cut off because I like cutting them down to around here. I think they look nicer like that, but it will also either be getting cut down to where the dart tooth is to line up with this area, or it's going to stay like this, and I'm going to take a stampede barrel, put it down here, whatever, say it's inside, put it down to where the dart tooth is and then cut it off at the front. I don't know what I'm going to do yet with lengthwise. I think I'm going to wait a little bit longer to see how everything else fits with it and then kind of decide, do I like holding it right here, which I actually do like doing. When I hold up a stampede, I like having somewhere in the front to hold, because if I'm down by my hip, I don't really want to hold it right here if I don't have any place to put it up here, or, my hands up here, or hold on to the magazine, because that's just a little bit awkward. So don't really know, I'm just leaving it kind of open around where I like it. Same thing I did with Fenrir, is just cut it down like here, then cut open the circle on the inside here, and so darts can fly through and not get caught in here, because if you don't cut down this area, they will bump into it and get stuck. So I like to carve it down very big and very open. Yeah, so that's what I have for right now. But on the inside, I have upgraded my stampede quite a bit. So stock electronics on the inside here. I will probably be taking this switch out because I don't really understand why Nerf has put 2 magwell switches in there. Kind of redundant to me. This one is just really unnecessary, and I think they could save just a little bit of money if they just didn't put it in there. So this will probably get cut out and the wire soldered together. I will be keeping the jam door on this one because the jam door lock is kind of practical. If, say, if you get a runaway, you don't want to switch it off, you can just open the jam door really fast. because I don't know if I'm going to keep the side switch on this part of the shell, because I don't like this. I don't like the two halves of the Stampede connecting, because when I open something up, I like to be able to take one half of it, put it someplace, you know, away from me, and work on this without the other side just dangling off. So I'm sure there's other people out there who have the same feeling, but that's just how I like to do things. Now, when it comes to the plunger tube area, I have upgraded this quite nicely. So I've taken the ARs out, like you should usually do when you mod a Stampede, and I've kept the stock spring, but I'm also going to be adding this, which is an Ace 115 spring. This spring is in Fenrir, and I can tell you it is a pretty gnarly spring. They are about $245, $275 at Ace hardware stores. So if you want a great upgrade spring and you don't want to pay for shipping from Orange Mod Works or shipping from someone on eBay, and you don't want to pay like $8 for a spring, seriously, this is only like $2, $3, and it does really well. But this is a pretty great upgrade if you want there to still be a good addition of power, but you're not going overkill with it. So I like this spring. This is what I'm using along with the stock spring. So if I want more power later, I can keep that in there and then upgrade it. But for right now, I think it's going to be fine. So the plunger tube has that in it. The seal is at 100%. I've tested thoroughly, and yes, it's around 99.999 to 100%, because why not? The catch is still the same, because I like it when, you know, you just go boop with the catch, boop like that, and it, you know, automatically shoots off. And the return part back here, you know, that little part that moves right there, has been upgraded, and the spring is perfect length, and that spring has been hot glued to the little peg it attaches to, so it doesn't move around at all while it's inside there. It's just a little thing I do so that the spring doesn't flip over and you get a runaway, because I hate runaways. It's happened to me like 3 times now, and each time it's just really frustrating to have to unscrew an entire Stampede and fix that problem. You know, take off the cover, take out the plunger tube, take off this thing. It's just a really simple fix, and yeah, I do it to all my Stampedes now. One last thing I'll be doing with this is this clip release spring. I'll be taking that out and putting a slightly weaker spring of that in here, so I don't have to push this as hard to get it out. I did it with Fenrir. You take just a weaker extension spring, I'm sorry. You get a weaker extension spring, the ones that, you know, look like that, and you put that in there, you stretch it out, and then you screw it down so one of the loops gets mashed into that screw. And it's just so much easier. It's so much lighter. It doesn't rub your finger. It's magical, really. That's what it is. It is a magical little thing to do. You weaken it down to where it's barely holding the clip in, but you can't shake it out through force or anything. But as soon as you pull on it just a little bit, it slides out. Oh, it's amazing. It is a great thing to do with your Stampedes. I don't know why more people don't do it. I do it. It's great. Go out, get yourself a weaker compression spring from one of those Home Depot spring assortments and throw that in there and just kind of tweak it just a little bit. Now, the big thing I've been spending my time on with the Stampede since figuring out that my first idea wasn't going to work is I've been working on the exterior quite a bit, and I'll show you what I mean. Regular Stampede, nothing to see here, except in the back I've cut it down quite significantly. And if I take another shell and show you, it's not like it's a huge cut or anything, but I mean, you know, it's very noticeable for if you know, put it up to your shoulder or something. Just taking off that back area down to around, you know, where this is, it makes it so much more comfortable. It's just really nice to do, to be completely honest, because you can just tuck it in here. Everything is just in reach, comfortable reach, I might add, and I really like it. So for right now, I have a piece of polycarb. It's Lexan polycarb that comes in those $4 sheets at Home Depot. I have that right here. Plastic welded to this side because I love plastic welder. I only use that in the Loctite clear, and I only use the Loctite clear because some applications, like the one I'm going to show you, I like to have clear epoxy, but I use plastic welder for everything else by DevCon. If you can find it, it is some of the best epoxy out there. Works great on wood, metal, plastic, really anything you can think of. you can probably use that for it. So I have that there. It's just mostly kind of keep dust and dirt out, because when I mod, I like to think about what's gonna happen if I like fall into mud or something. So I like to cover up all the bigger holes that aren't their stock. I mean, I can't really do much with a jam door unless I like put polycarb over it or something, but yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. Anyways, polycarb here, and I am working on getting a piece to cover up the battery tray, because this is where I'm gonna be putting my batteries, of course. And what I'm thinking about doing is getting a hinge, putting it on, you know, one of these sides. Let's say the hinge is on this side. And what I've done is I've taken 2 pieces of 1/8 inch thick polycarb. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. And I've epoxied them together with the clear stuff so I can see through. There's still bubbles in there because I didn't press it down well enough for it to be just, you know, fully sealed type. But it's very much see-through and better than the first one I did, which was has this big hole in it in the center there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, cut it down to where, you know, it's just the battery tray, and make it so that when I want to open my batteries, I'm going to put a little latch right here, that, you know, one of those guitar case latches, so you can flip that open, and then this can just, you know, flop up like that, and you can replace your batteries, take them out, or fill it with ammo if you really wanted to. So that's my plan for that. And then at the bottom here, put another piece that's attached on this side. I have it all leveled out. I worked pretty hard on getting that nice and level. Even with the sanding belt, it was kind of at an angle, so I came back and I did everything by eye, and so far it is looking good. I still have to work down on this area, because the nub that goes right here is where a screw goes, and I want to keep that screw port just to keep the strength of these back areas. So yeah, after this video I'm probably going to cut this down to around where I need it to be. Of course, take off all the excess at least, and get that to where it needs to be. And then I'm going to go out tomorrow and try and find just a small hinge and a latch. I've not been able to find latches, but I guess I wasn't looking hard enough, but whatever. So that will come in the next video installment. And other things that are going to be coming next in the installment is I will be adding something else to this, and then I have some doodads that I'm going to put an and on it. And yeah, that will all be in the 3rd installment of this series. So part 1 is basically just me cutting down a Stampede for no reason. But I'll figure out something to do with that Stampede. I don't know when part 3 is going to come, because the things are shipping from very far away, so I don't really have control on when they get here. But I will make it as soon as I can. So for the 3rd installment, before I can do that, I have to at least smoothen this out, make that look nice just in case I want to keep that. Smoothen this out, cut this out, and put the plates on the back here. And yeah, that's really about it. But for now, that's what I have. Thought I'd let you guys know what the changes I have thought about were, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And I really can't wait for this thing to be done, because I just love modding Stampedes. They are such a great HVZ blaster. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and as always, have a great day wherever you are. Blah, 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 blah.